This morning, CBS News begins Eye on Earth, Our Planet in Peril. It's a week of special coverage on our changing planet leading up to Earth Day. So this Thursday, in a new CBS News poll, 56% of Americans say climate change is urgent and should be addressed right now. Rising sea levels are among the most visible effects of climate change, with water covering more than 70% of the Earth's surface. It's key to our survival. So Mark Phillips volunteered to go out to sea in that very snazzy outfit to report on how this force of nature affects us all.
Let's start with a confession. This may be the most self-indulgent report I've ever done, but it's in a good cause. They said they wanted to focus this series on the climate change crisis in a way that people can relate to. They said, let's look at specific ways in which lives are being affected. Let's look at what's happening, for example, with water. So I said, water? I know where to find some. Once this was a world of wind and water and sun. Now we call them renewables. Offshore wind farms, solar power arrays. But this is actually a good place to start a series on climate change because the effects are often felt out here first, and what happens here affects everywhere else. We all know that global warming is raising sea temperatures and thawing the ice caps in the north and south polar regions. And we know that as chunks of glaciers and ice sheets break off and float away, they melt, causing sea levels around the world to rise. How much is the sea level rising? We know that too. According to NASA, sea levels are up since the year 1900 about 8 inches. And we also know that the rate the waters are rising is speeding up. Remember when Hurricane Sandy hit New York City in 2012? Get used to it. Severe storm flooding used to be considered a once every 500-year event. Now it's once every 25 years. And within the next 3 decades, the National Academy of Science predicts it may happen once every 5 years. You don't have to peer into the future to get a sense of the consequences of climate change. They're happening right now and right here. See that old fortification over there? It was built 500 years ago by Henry VIII to keep the French out of these waters. 500 years ago, he built it to last, unlike his marriages maybe. But last winter, a storm rose up and the waters rose up and it collapsed. 500 years. Weather patterns just aren't what they used to be.
We get the highest tides, we get the strongest storms, we get the warmest winters, the coldest winters, the warmest summers, the wettest summers. All these extremes are happening year after year.
Temperatures, sea levels, and storms you can measure. But the oceans play another more mysterious role in the climate story. If it weren't for the oceans, the planet would be warming even faster. One of the new areas of study, I gather, is what we're learning about what kind of role the world's oceans have played, really, in protecting us from ourselves.
The oceans are a huge heat store, and they absorb that energy coming in from the sun very efficiently.
Like a storage heater, you
A
said.
huge storage heater. And of course, the Earth is 71%, 72% ocean, so it has it's buffering that energy.
I feel a butt coming.
The big but is, of course, as with any storage heater, that energy is there, and it could come back and bite us.
A lot of scientists think those weather extremes and those rising waters are evidence the bite back has already begun. When you sail through these waters, you sail through the wake of history, natural and human. But now, for the first time, one of the animal species on this planet is determining the course of the whole world's future. That species, of course, is us. For CBS This Morning, I'm Mark Phillips, somewhere in the English Channel.
Nicely done again, Mark Phillips. He knows what he's doing on a boat.
Yeah, he sure does. I'm impressed.
Shalom. Want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem Kadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Want to do this video on what you've seen on this video in this article. I don't know why this ad is trying to play when I freaking paused it. It's acting up again. NASA predicts a wobble in the moon's orbit may lead to basically to flooding on Earth, right? And what they showed in this video is that the sea levels are rising by a fast amount. Ice is melting, the sea level is rising, right? Most of the land is covered up by water now. And nobody really still knows how deep the ocean is. It could probably take hours to get down there, right? And you got earthquakes in diverse places, right? Because we just had an earthquake, I believe, a few weeks ago. It was a small one. And before that, I believe it was 10 years ago. Now, where we're at, we rarely get earthquakes at all, really. Now, I'm gonna get the scriptures, get out of full screen, right? This is Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So things like this is going to start causing wars. Why? Because, I'm going to keep reading. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Now that the earthquakes can be talking about actual uproars, but they can also talk about actual earthquakes, because this says in diverse places. What does diverse mean? Difference, right? That's what they like to try and teach us in school. Diversity. Accept diversity. Right? Now, why would these people be having wars over what? Climate change? Why? Because people want answers. That's how that's how everything goes. Even if it's something about sea level rise, people want answers. And when people want answers, you know how people want to get their answers, by rioting. And when people start riots, then that's when wars start. Right? That's when all out chaos start happening. So people going to want answers and why this is happening. They want to they go to Egypt for help, right? I'm gonna get Luke. Salakia. It's phone being slow today. I'm gonna get Luke 21:11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. So, like I said, it can be uproars, or it can be an actual earthquake. It could be both at the same time. Right? Famines and pestilences, there's going to be a lot of there's going to be the famine of the word and famine of bread and water, right? It's going to be pestilences, which is sicknesses, which we already have right now. We already got food shortages. And like I said, it's going to be wars. Because why? The famines and the pestilences and the earthquakes, people are going to want answers on why these are happening. Then they're going to start rioting and protesting. Then it's going to lead to wars. Who is the one causing it? Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right? And it says there shall be fearful sights. When I read this, fearful sights, I automatically think of Isaiah 13, right? It said children shall be dashed to pieces. It's going to be like as if Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, all over again, right? Nobody's gonna dwell there. They said it's gonna be all kinds of weird creatures there. Satires dancing there, right? Fearful sights. As Isaiah 13 all over. It says, and great signs shall there be from heaven. Things like these are great signs from heaven. Why? Because you're seeing the works. You're seeing the works of Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, at least a glimpse of it. You're seeing the sea level rise and almost covering the entire earth. And then you're going to see people going into uproars, right? Seeing earthquakes in diverse places, and actual earthquakes too. People are going to be in uproars, and things like this is going to start causing wars, because then they want answers, then protests, and riots, and then wars, right? Martial law. Because we all know that's going to happen next. It's too many riots, too many protests. So then they're going to probably bring in martial law soon. We're pretty much in it. Because they already started that door-to-door, the door-to-door poke, right? So we're pretty much in it. Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rakah HaKadosh. Shalom.